recording out good. Ay, ay, ay. Hi everybody, thank you for joining me today. In this session, you're going to watch me give a mediumship reading with a lovely lady named Elizabeth, and we're going to connect with her dad. So grab some tissue, grab some water, couple squat, and let's get started. How you doing today?
I'm okay.
Okay, good. When your dad came through, and he's still here, the first thing, I mean, we talked about this earlier, he gave me a very gruff attitude. Like he's just really, but he's really soft underneath. He gave me the impression that he was a very strict disciplinarian growing up. He mentioned you and him butted heads a lot. A whole lot. You just did not see eye to eye on a lot of things. Do you have a brother, too?
I do have a brother.
Okay. Did those two butt heads a lot as well? Because he makes me feel like, quite honestly, what he says is nobody got along with me.
I was actually just thinking that. Name somebody that did like him or get along with him.
He says nobody got along with me. Nobody saw things the way I saw them.
Right.
He is very, and when I say very, I mean extremely very, he's very black and white about how he wants things, how he sees things. He's very strong in his opinions. Having said that, he says that your brother was like a bull in a china shop.
Yeah.
He says the damn boy never listened. Do you want to talk about that?
No, he probably is saying something like it still doesn't.
Yeah.
No, I agree with everything so far.
Okay.
Definitely.
What is up with the hunting?
Hunting?
Hunting. He gives me a hunting reference. What is up with the hunting?
I don't know that reference yet.
Okay, all right. He says connect between him and his son. There's a hunting reference. That's right.
I'll think on that.
That's fine.
Okay.
A couple of days after you get a reading, I don't know if Aaron ever told you, but after you get a reading for a couple of days later, you'll have what's known as an aha moment.
Okay.
Like after you process everything, you go, oh wow, that's what it was.
Okay.
So don't be shocked when that
No,
happens.
I'm not shocked.
Okay. You said this is only the second reading you've ever gotten?
Second, yeah.
All right. Who's Jimmy? Jimmy?
Jim Durst or Jimmy,
It's a friend of his.
a friend of his, of Richard, my father. That's Jim Durst.
Okay. He says, tell Jim I'm okay. Was Jim worried about how he passed or where he was or questioning? Because he says, tell Jimmy, he says Jimmy, tell Jimmy I'm okay.
Tell Dad that he should tell him that because Jim just passed.
Okay.
So maybe he can be hanging out with his old buddy again.
Okay. Was there drinking involved between the two of them? Because he keeps showing me beer.
A lot of beer.
What's
Yeah.
up with the Pabst Blue Ribbon?
Was it Pabst Blue Ribbon? I mean, you know what I think he's probably showing you is like a cheap brand.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
whatever the cheap brand
what's
was.
up? They didn't even make that beer anymore.
They did back then too,
Ooh,
yeah.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah. I think he was a Coors guy, but I don't know. I think it was a whatever's cheapest.
Okay, so he kept showing me that. I was like, wow, okay, great. He also shows me a motorcycle.
Yeah.
He makes me feel like that's something he was very fond of.
Yeah.
Was that his prized possession? Because he keeps shining it. He keeps making it look shiny.
He had one for a while, and then things didn't work out, and then he got something later on in life, but that was when his body had gone through too many changes. I don't think he was able to ride as much as he would have wanted to. But I do remember when I was younger, he did, yeah.
Okay. He talks about vertigo. What was up with his ears? Like an unbalance? You have an inner ear issue? Because he keeps referring to the vertigo. And I gotta tell you, he makes me feel like I'm really like off balance and dizzy right now. Like I'm on a woo.
I don't know a lot of his ailments, so it's possible he would have had that. I'm not sure.
Okay, all right. Did he pass in his sleep? Because he keeps referring to his sleep.
I hope so.
He says, okay, what he tells me. Slow down, slow down. He says he went to sleep and then he crossed and woke up.
Okay. That's very good to know.
He said it was painless. You got tissue right there, honey, if you need it. He also says he was ready when he passed.
I know.
He said before he went to sleep, he told God, I'm ready. And
We
he
knew.
got real sleepy.
Yeah. That doesn't surprise me.
He shows me, I'm gonna go off topic for a second,
That's
and then we'll go back to his health issues.
It's what?
Health issues.
Oh, okay. I thought you said fault issues.
Yeah,
It's like,
well-
he's not giving you that.
No, he's not, no, he's very obstinate. He doesn't like to accept a lot of responsibility.
I know.
And he can get a little argumentative and
Yeah.
stubborn,
Yes.
okay? It's like Earl when he said, your brother was a bull in the china shop.
Yeah.
But he also admits, we're cut from the same cloth.
Oh. Mm.
But that's as much as he's gonna admit.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is his connection with law enforcement? Because he keeps showing me a police badge.
Well, we were next door neighbors with a local constable, and it probably really ticked my father off. He was either part of a racing team, or I don't remember if he raced or if he was part of a racing team, like a dirt track, so low key. But he would mess with it late at night, and they just had a lot of interactions. Like when my mother first filed protective order against him, that man served him. He always put himself in the middle of things, and my dad just got bad vibes from him. The man was a great man and tried to look out for people in the community, but they butted heads.
Okay. Your dad butted heads a lot of people, let me tell you something. What was up with the neighbor across the street? Because he mentions, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. The bitch across the street.
I don't remember her name, but they weren't very friendly and social. If one of us ran into the yard or came near, I don't even remember the last name, but I think there was some issues. But it was when I was much younger, so I probably wouldn't remember,
Okay.
the exact things
Right.
about the
Okay.
issues.
He makes me feel like, and when he says bitch, he's really pissed off about it.
Yeah, I remember there were just, sometimes we don't always like our neighbors. I'm
Okay.
sure I remember specifically there was one catty corner across the street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. He says he was really strict as a parent. He does mention being heavy-handed.
That's a nice way of putting it.
I'm putting it nicely.
Oh, you are? Okay. That wasn't his words.
What he's saying is that I beat the ass too much.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
He makes me, he shows me his hand, and it's like blood red. it's like he's just been hitting too hard, too much. He does accept his part in that. He does say he had anger issues that stem from his parents, from his dad beating him.
I don't think I ever knew that part, but yeah, I don't think I ever knew that part.
What was up with the emphysema? He talks about emphysema. Did he smoke also? Because I have cigarette smoke around him.
He smoked and he smoked pot too, but he I don't remember him ever like coughing or having issues with breathing.
Okay. He also shows me an oxygen tank, like he's in a hospital.
Not him. I don't remember an oxygen tank ever being in him or around him. But he was in and out of the hospital. I mean, so at some point, he may have needed something like that, but he was severely obese. So if he's showing you an oxygen tank, maybe he was just hard. It was hard to breathe. It was hard for him to do a lot of things. Breathing would be one of them.
What is up with the fluid in his lungs? Did he have pneumonia? Because he talks about being sick in the lungs.
Maybe.
And it was constricted, it's hard for me to breathe. He talks about the chest area, constriction.
Okay.
Just can't. Okay. Okay, go ahead.
All of the strong people that came that day couldn't get him into the vehicle. And that's all he wanted. He just wanted to get into the vehicle so he could drive around, go to the beach. He liked to just look at the waves. We couldn't get him in. And when we couldn't get him in, he was trying to get back into the house. And I saw his leg bend the opposite way. I didn't know a human body that could happen. And I saw him scoot himself back into his home. And that had to have been the worst day of his life, probably. It had to have been. Because it sticks with me. I feel really bad about that day. I'm not the best daughter, but that's because I'm royally fucking pissed off at that man. I'm not anymore, but I just say we weren't close. And that's the truth.
He says you were always his little girl,
I know.
in spite of the differences that you guys had.
I know he loved me. I know that.
He makes the statements of the fact that his growing up was rough, but he acknowledges it really doesn't have full responsibility there.
He what?
It doesn't have full responsibility.
Right, right.
He says he was very angry.
Yeah.
He definitely had anger issues.
Uh-huh.
He had substance issues.
Yep.
It says he was more of a wilder man. He liked to party before he got married, and he did not like giving up that lifestyle.
Oh, I didn't know that part.
He does make me, again, he refers to not getting along with like anybody. Now, before he got that obese, he makes me feel like he did like to go out to the bars.
Yeah.
Was he more of a bruiser or a brawler? Because he makes me feel like he was one of those guys you see in a bar and you go, ooh, this guy's trouble.
Yeah, nobody would mess with him. But I had never actually seen him in any kind of fight with another person of his stature or another male. I'd never seen that.
He's a big guy.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, like
before that, like he was, he was tall and yes,
Yeah,
like
now,
when he walked into the room, you would notice.
Yeah, he's very imposing.
Right.
When he walks in, you go, ooh, no matter if there's 1,000 people walking in.
Yeah.
He's the one that's saying that. He reminds me of a wrestler.
Yeah.
You know, he's just that big.
Yeah. Big Rich. That was his name, Big Rich.
He says he was built like a brick shit house.
Okay. Yeah.
What is his connection with Catholicism?
I'm sorry.
Catholicism.
He didn't grow up in that environment, but my mother was a Catholic school woman and came from a Catholic family, but we never continued
Okay.
anything.
He says some of that actually rubbed off on him. Not
It's
that he was a
good thing
follower.
for him.
Not that he was a follower, but some of it rubbed off. So I don't know if your mother kind of talked about it a little bit and it stuck with him.
I'm glad.
Okay. He does revert back to when he was in his 40s,
Yeah.
when he was healthiest.
Really? 40s.
What is up with the fishing?
Fishing?
Fishing. He
I
shows me a fishing pole.
know he liked to fish. My brother was a fisherman, and my brother used to relace rods, and he'd sell them. He was kind of like a self-made entrepreneur of a very small stature, like he'd mow lawns or anyways. I don't remember them per se fishing together, but I'm sure they have some kind of memories of that. And he might have, when I was younger, maybe threw some casts out in the ocean, but I don't remember that being very important to him. But I mean, if he liked the beach, probably anything that happens at the beach would be something he'd like.
He says he liked being outside
Yeah,
because it felt free.
yeah,
He didn't like to be confined.
I'm sure he did.
He says holidays were hard around the house.
Yeah,
There was not a lot of money, not a lot of patience. And I'm paraphrasing because he says, I didn't have time for it. I didn't get into it. I didn't like it.
well, he came from a family who had a lot of money, and when he ventured out, sold his part of the business and ventured out on his own and didn't make it, I think that was very difficult for him. I think that hurt his pride, and he couldn't recover well from that. His family owned a very, very successful tool and die company, and when, that's not inexpensive equipment. That's very expensive equipment, and when he ventured out and moved states away from all of his family, all of our family, and we tried something new and it didn't work out, that hurt his pride. And I remember us not having much, but I don't remember us ever really wanting. And we had what we needed.
Yeah.
And there were presents under the tree. So as far as Christmas goes, I don't remember us struggling very bad.
He says he didn't like it. He didn't like the holidays. What was up with his birthday? Did he not celebrate them? Because he keeps making me feel like each year that came was each year that he knew he was unhappy. It was a reminder.
That must be something that he didn't share, like just something between him and something he struggled with internally.
Okay. All right. Did he have a watch? Because he keeps referencing to a watch.
Maybe, not later on.
Okay. No, he got too big for the watch. But earlier.
Maybe there was something about a watch. I'll call my mom afterwards, because she remembers a lot of stuff.
Okay.
So I'll call her.
Also, talk to your brother about it, because
Okay.
he makes reference to his son and the watch.
Like, does he want Danny to have it? Or, I don't.
There's a connection between the watch and your son.
Oh, okay.
Your son.
Okay.
He says he is around you. He talks about when he passed, that you felt guilty. He says you had nothing to feel guilty about. He says he pushed you into a lot of stuff that you did. He also says let go of the anger. Where he is right now, he sees what happened, where it went wrong. he makes me feel like when he did his life review, that they pointed out, you could have done better here, you could have done better here, you failed at this, you didn't do this. And he says, I get it. I completely get it now. But he's not accepting a lot of responsibility still. He just says, I get it.
And he's back.
And he's back. But he says that there's always love there. You were always his little girl.
Yeah.
He says, you were my hellion. What was done at his graveside in his honor, and I'm being very careful about this, because he makes me feel like he was there,
Oh, yeah.
he was shocked with it, but he was happy. It was unexpected. He didn't know that he had that kind of love.
Oh.
And it has to do with you. What was done at the gravesite?
Well, we all put his ashes into the ocean. We all were there together and did that together. I specifically, I didn't go do anything, but you know, yeah, specifically, it wasn't. He might be talking about the wake. He might be just talking about the wake.
Okay.
That was different.
Okay, you want to talk about that? Because he says he didn't know that he was loved. He didn't realize it until then. He attended that. He said there was an outpouring of love.
Yeah.
A little bit of regret, but mostly love.
Yeah, his brothers came down. Or two of his brothers were able to make it, and I just thought it would be important that everybody remember that even if you're pissed off at somebody, you gotta mend the bridges, at least so when they pass, you don't have a guilty conscience. And you, even if you're still upset, just, try to mend things.
He said there was a lot of forgiveness. He said there was also some sharing of the stories.
Sure.
Not all of them were good.
Sure.
He goes, and there was a little bit of anger, but overall it was forgiveness.
Yeah.
And it was an outpouring of genuine love.
Yeah. It's not kind to talk about people negatively after their passing.
Right. He mentions your struggle with him.
Yeah.
Even now.
Yeah.
Now he's been dead for a couple years.
Oh, yeah.
At least 5.
No, much longer.
Yeah, at least 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happened 5 years ago? You keep showing me the number 5. 5 years ago was you.
5 years ago with me.
He said that was life-changing with you.
With me.
Yeah.
No, that was 3. So I was senior,
Because
junior.
he says talk about that.
5 years ago.
I know it's hard. I'm so sorry.
No, that's okay. I'm trying to think of monumental things that would have gone on that would have been, but it's referring to him, or it's something just with my
It's
life
with you
personally.
in general. Yeah. Personally.
Not 5 years ago. I thought, I had my oldest move away, like out from underneath me when she needed me the most. She wanted to go.
Wow. Just to let you know, her father keeps cutting the camera on and off, so I'm going to try to piece this together later. But yeah, her father's definitely here. Go ahead on, I'm so sorry.
She wears rings from other family members, and one of them is a wedding set, but it is not her wedding set.
Okay.
She may, however, still wear her wedding set, as she would say, that's my ring. So she could be wearing multiple wedding sets,
Okay.
and then even like a ring from his mother, Dorothy, my grandma Dorothy. That's what she does. She
Okay.
wears like heritage.
Okay, very good, very good. He says he comes through in your mom's dreams, and they talk. He says sometimes she remembers, sometimes she doesn't.
Okay.
But he says that he comes through even around all of you kids. Is there a certain cologne he would wear? Because he mentions cologne, aftershave. He said, when you
Maybe.
smell it, I'm here. And he gives me, God, what the hell is this again? He gives me a trout reference. Again with the fishing. But he gives me a trout. And it's in reference to your brother, a trout.
That would be something that they shared. We had things that we would share, but that would be something between Danny and him.
Okay.
I know I don't remember them being avid fishers, but maybe fishermen, but maybe, things stuck with him.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, no, I'm good. I don't know what this is. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't understand it. He makes a reference. Did you ever wear your hair in pigtails? Did he ever pull them? Because he wants me to do this. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
He wants me to go like that. How do you relate to that? Because I'm saying I'm going.
We just had a fun sort of relationship like that.
Okay, because I didn't want to pull your
When
hair.
I was much younger,
Okay. He was
before
like-
I had a voice of my own. What I do remember of him good would be fun loving.
Okay. Like earlier, I said he's very grumpy. Underneath, he's really loving.
Sure.
And he would tug your hair.
Yeah.
He makes a reference that when you feel a slight tug now, that's him. That's his way of saying, hey, I'm here.
I feel that a lot.
He says you still cry over him. You cry over
Do
the
not.
fact- He said you cry over the fact of the lost dad.
Yeah.
Not the way he was where he passed.
But
The lost
But-
dad when you were little.
yeah, like not having that relationship. Yeah. All the time, yeah.
He says don't cry because I'm still here.
Yeah. Really hard to have a relationship with somebody after their passing and to value that relationship.
He says think about the good times.
Yeah, I do.
He said, and when you feel the tug, that's me. That's his way of coming through for you.
I'll try.
Okay. What is it about sunsets? He says the sunset at the beach was the best. The best. And that was the last thing he remembered when he went to sleep, was he remembered the sunset.
I'm sure. Well, like he said, he liked to be outside a lot. So I'm sure he would park wherever he could get the best view, get the best breeze, get the best smells, He would do that. He would just park and look and listen. Because, that's very peaceful, listening to the waves. We don't really get that here, but
Yeah.
the waves. And yeah, he would constantly do that. I'm very partial to sunsets. I don't think he was referring to that. We didn't have, because we lived off the Gulf Coast, and since the sun sets in the west, we didn't get good sunset views off water, but here we do.
What's his connection with Jacksonville?
Hmm.
He says Jacksonville is my home.
Oh yeah?
Why Jacksonville? I don't understand.
Maybe he was
He
there
says he
with
felt
us.
more at peace.
Really? Physically, he'd never been there,
Okay.
but his daughter lived there for a very long time.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna let him go back to you. Okay. Understand he is still there with you. Before I send him back, he does have one last message. He says, I'm sorry. And that's all he says, I'm sorry. And when he says that, he gives me this heartfelt apology that makes me want to choke up and say, it's okay. But he says, and it's very soft. I'm sorry. And the room has gotten colder in here now too. I'm gonna send him back to you, sweetheart. Understand he is still there with you. Okay? He did acknowledge the hell he put you kids through. He acknowledges the hell he put your mother through. I'm sorry. Okay. He says he wasn't the easiest. But he's in a good place. And he's happy. And he's watching the sunsets. And he's still there with you. You were always his little girl. And you will always be his little girl. No matter what.
To see if anything for my sister, she was a better daughter than I ever was.
No. No, he just talks about you. He talks about your brother. He gives messages as he needs them.
Yeah.
There's really nothing else for your mom other than a few things that we talked about. But he makes me feel like the messages for you
Sure.
was
So
what
yeah.
needed to be right now.
Sure.
He does make me feel like she has better memories.
Yeah. Jennifer? My sister?
She has better memories.
Yeah, she does.
She's there, but you're the one that needed to be healed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when he says, I'm sorry, it is so soft and so gentle. It actually gets me choked up. Like, that is a genuine, I'm sorry.
Because I wouldn't accept it when he was still here.
Yeah.
So he gets to have the last word on it, and so that's good. That's good.
Okay. I'm going to send it back, and then I'm going to cut this off, and we're going to talk.
Thank you.
Okay?
Did my grandma come?
No, honey, just him. He's the strongest one. I'm so sorry.
You know, that's
He
okay.
had messages to give you. I'm going to give you a hug from heaven right now, and then cut this off. I love you. This is from heaven. Let me cut this off.